And here we go on another beautiful evening in Phoenix, Arizona. The roof is wide open at Chase Field. Welcome to Major League Baseball International's special presentation of the 2023 World Series. It's Game 4. The Texas Rangers on the road taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hi, everybody. Dave Fleming and Ryan Spilborg. It's great to have you with us for Game 4. Can't wait for this one to get started. Rangers big win last night, Spilly, to take control of this series. They lead 2-1. However, it came at a cost. They lose two players. We just found out about an hour ago. Max Scherzer and Adolis Garcia both are off the World Series roster. Let's focus on Garcia and what it might do to the other star hitter in the middle of the Rangers order, Corey Seager.
Well, to me, it makes it so you're not going to see Corey Seager get pitched to. Why would you pitch to Corey Seager when he's playing like Babe Ruth? He's Reggie Jackson. He's all the greats in the postseason. You're going to ask somebody to now step up that hasn't stepped up yet. And from a managerial standpoint, Torey Lovullo, since it is a bullpen game, you get to mix and match in a way that we probably weren't getting ready to see. So I cannot wait for what we're about to witness, because the Diamondbacks bullpen is set up for contact and defense. So that's kind of the story of the night.
And it does feel like a game where those managerial decisions are going to be huge, because Andrew Heaney goes for the Rangers, and he's a starting pitcher. He might give them 5 innings. We don't know, but it could be shorter than that, and both managers might have to do some maneuvering.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of tap dancing tonight when it comes to both Bruce Bochy and Torey Lovullo. I think the one thing that stands true is pitching through traffic. A lot of these pitchers are going to have to pitch through traffic, and if you do open up those bullpen gates, can somebody come in and put out the fire?
That is a huge question for Game 4 tonight. Let's take a look at the lineups, and obviously for Texas, the lineup looks different. Semien and Seager at the top. Mitch Garver moves into the 3 spot. He's the DH once again. The 21-year-old kid is hitting cleanup now. Evan Carter, Josh Young, another rookie up in the 5 spot of the order. Low, the switch-hitting catcher Jonah Heim, Tavares, and then Travis Jankowski. He's the guy who takes Adolis Garcia's place. Defensively, he's going to bat ninth. A very different player from Garcia, but a capable player. You also see Duran on the bench and an extra lefty. Bruce Bochy with Brock Burke now on the roster has 5 lefties in his bullpen, and this is the pitcher that they're going to face. Maybe not for long, Spilly, but Joe Mantiply gets the ball first.
Yeah, interesting too. Joe Mantiply, they're trying to get him matched up with Corey Seager, so you can see if he can try to, Torey Lovullo said so much, see if he can steal in a bat away from Corey Seager. So Mantiply could be 15 pitches. He could be 35 pitches. It all depends on how quick and efficient, which makes it exciting for us. I mean, you are basically, from the very first pitch of this game, there's a decision to be made on the results. You got to love that. StatCast 3D is powered by Google Cloud. Here's his mix. It's sinker, curveball, changeup. He has one of the better changeups in baseball as far as pitch movement, but it's going to be quick. You have to be able to land your stuff immediately. And so we'll see. Marcus Semien is as aggressive as a hitter as there is in Major League Baseball. And so you get a start right away.
It feels like a big at-bat to begin the game. And Semien swings at the very first pitch and misses that 90-mile-an-hour Joe Mantiply fastball. So here we go. Game 4 underway, where the Rangers 1 win away from taking a 3-1 series lead and having a chance to clinch tomorrow night. Diamondbacks trying to even this series up. That fastball misses down and in. Well, for Joe Mantiply, we see lots of teams use openers. This is not a new strategy in the last few weeks. Baseball has been going this way for a while when there's not a capable starter ready.
South side.
That one misses, so the count is now 2-1. But Joe Mantiply, he did pitch as an opener in the National League Championship Series. Hasn't done it all that often until recently. That one off the inside, not by much. It's 3-1.
Well, this is where the challenge is. If you're the Diamondbacks, you don't want any traffic in front of Seager, even though you want the left-on-left matchup.
So the 3-1 pitch. Semien right through that high fastball, 3-2.
His timing is so far off. That's part of the big reason why he's not able to catch the high fastball. He's just what hitters like to call stuck in between. He's just not on fastball.
3-2. Semien pops one foul, backing out of play.
And it's such a exhausting feeling as a hitter, because it's been close to 2 weeks now, and we've seen Semien where he knows he's not on time. He just knows it. But it's the small little movements that you make and you're trying to do it, but you're doing it against the world's best pitching.
Another 3-2 pitch here to start the night. Simeon hits another ball foul, just as an example of how this game is going to be different, managed differently. Diamondbacks bullpen is already working, and we knew that would be the case, but it's still unusual. Before an out has been recorded, the first hitters at the plate, we got bullpen activity. 3-2, hard hit ground ball toward the hole. It's short. Backhanded Perdomo gets up and he throws him out. What a play to start the game.
Well, Diamondbacks defensively, they have their best infield unit with Emmanuel Rivera at third. You have Perdomo, Marte, and Christian Walker. This is the best infielding defense in Major League Baseball. And Perdomo get a chance to see. That's not an easy play. Backhand spin and then use your arm strength.
So here's Seager now, and he goes after the very first pitch and drives one out towards left center field. Gurriel back it. He'll make the catch short of the warning track. And that on one pitch is out number 2. The superstar hitter who has dominated the postseason again. Corey Seager is retired.
That's the stolen at bat that you were hoping for if you're Torey Lovullo. Nobody on. Gets Seager. He got him on one pitch.
And it is amazing. It was a fastball right out over the heart of the plate. And the Diamondbacks keep talking about not letting Corey Seager beat us, and then they keep making pitches in the strike zone to him. Mitch Garver swings and misses. So 2 down, nobody on. Joe Mantiply trying to make this a 1-2-3 first inning. You hear the voice of the home plate umpire, David Rackley. He's calling balls and strikes here tonight. Ryan Spilborg's close personal friend. That was a good off-speed pitch. Garver way out in front. 1-2.
Well, Mantiply just really tough on right-handed batters. Mitch Garver is a good right-handed hitter. 344 batting average on the season against lefties. This postseason, he's 4 for 5. But he's also not accustomed to seeing a changeup as good as Mantiply's.
The lefty ready with the 1-2. Garver, wow, that got a piece of the young catcher Moreno right on the side of the mask.
Well, to give you an idea of just how much vertical drop from Joe Mantiply's changeup, you got to compare it against the rest of the league. Major League average is about 32 inches. Mantiply's 45. That's the largest drop in Major League Baseball.
When you're number 1 of everybody at this level, I think that's usually pretty good. Still 1-2. Very high with a fastball. You have another lefty on deck, young Evan Carter. And we sort of assumed, unless there was a disaster right away, that Joe Mantiply at minimum would get through Carter. 2-2. Well off the outside, so now he's gone full to the DH Mitch Garver.
Torey Lovullo, they had something like 10 different maps and plans from different scenarios of today's game.
Garver fouls it away. Yeah, and it's funny, right? You, as a manager, as a pitching coach, as a staff, you get together on a night like this and say, let's try to think through all the different scenarios. And then the game starts and
out the window.
8th pitch of the at-bat here. 3-2. It's low. Ball 4. So Garver takes the walk, and that's the first base runner of the night. A 2-out walk in front of the rookie Evan Carter.
Well, normally that would have been Adolis Garcia's spot, 3 right in the middle of this lineup. But with Mitch Garver and with the injury to Adolis, you have Garver that's going to be sitting right there. He took some good swings. He has big-time power, but he's already getting rewarded with a walk.
He's having a really good World Series, this guy, Evan Carter. Takes that one for a strike. And not yet. I mean, he's only 21 years old, but he isn't yet particularly accomplished left on left.
Now he's 0 for 10 this postseason left on left.
The 0-1. That one right there, a fastball. It kind of gives you an idea because Evan Carter's looking back, and that was right down the middle.
I mean, he's so young. He didn't face a ton of left-handed pitching in the minor leagues, so he doesn't know the small nuance of going left on left because he hasn't faced many in his life.
Swings away 0-2 and hits it to shallow center. Thomas sprinting in, and he gets there. So a 2-out walk, but Joe Mantiply, you got to say that was a successful opener for Mantiply as he gets through the big hitters and retires the side with no runs. Well, now it'll be Carroll and Marte and the D-backs coming up when we come back for the bottom of the first. Here for the bottom of the first, no score, game 4 in Phoenix, and here is the Diamondbacks lineup. Ketel Marte with the left-hander on the mound. Marte will hit leadoff in this one. Corbin Carroll moves down to the 2 spot. Moreno once again catching, hitting third. Then you got Walker. Tommy Pham's having a great World Series. Gurriel in left. Thomas Rivera is the one difference in terms of position players out there. Emmanuel Rivera in place of Emma Longoria, and Perdomo, the shortstop, batting ninth. And look, this is not the same situation as Joe Mantiply. Andrew Heaney, if he's throwing the ball well, Spilly, he's going to be a little bit more like a normal starter tonight.
Possibly. We also saw him start a game against the Astros, and he lasted basically 2 outs.
It's outside.
I mean, Heaney on the course of the year, 150 innings pitched.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he can't start and give you some length.
And when he's good, he's really good.
Right.
That one right in there. So 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Ketel Marte, who in his career has been such a great weapon against left-handed pitching.
Too low.
That one is low. So it's 2-1. This year he was a little more balanced as a switch hitter. In fact, hit for a little more power from the other side of the plate. He's had a hit in every playoff game that he's ever played in. Hits that one right back up the middle, and that streak will continue. Hard hit ball for Ketel Marte, who had one of those in last night's game, and it took a great play by Corey Seager. Who knows? The whole game might have turned out differently. Marte this time hit it where the defense wasn't.
There's so many stories about last night's game about woulda, shoulda, couldas, and ultimately the Texas Rangers took that lead, so they're up 2-1. But it's amazing to think that Ketel Marte has had a hit in every single game.
So here's Corbin Carroll. He slashes the first pitch. So he's got the longest hit streak in postseason history, Ketel Marte. Now in this particular postseason, 16 games in a row with a hit. That is the longest streak within a single playoff year. He's a threat to run at first with Corbin Carroll at the plate. Carroll takes that fastball for strike 2. Diamondbacks, by the way, this configuration has been good for them. And their lineup, it's not just because of the top of the order. Their lineup, on paper, you look at it, you say, man, they're built to beat lefties. They're 5-0 when Marte is in that leadoff spot against a left-hander these playoffs. Corbin Carroll, that is hard to believe. 5 games at home, 10 games on the road. He has not done well in these playoff home games so far this year.
Those are always due for a correction.
I agree. He's too good.
Oh.
That one just missing. Wow.
And it looks like it probably should have been strike 3, and for Corbin Carroll gets an extra pitch.
And we'll see. That was a big story, especially late in last night's game. A lot of talk today about balls and strikes and umpiring. Carroll strikes out swinging here. That was an unusual high changeup, but it worked. Out number 1.
Well, Heaney, when he's at his best, it's almost an upshoot fastball, and if he throws his high changeup off of it, it makes a lot of sense on why it's so difficult to hit. Give you an idea, as you're watching him throws four-seam fastball close to 60% of the time, which is so far above league average, but it's because he's able to throw it where most guys don't like it, and they don't see it very well because he crossfires.
Heaney's not getting that low strike right now from David Rackley. That's 2 of them that, according to StatCast, were right in the strike zone called balls. Moreno only has 1 hit in the World Series. That 1 hit, though, was a home run. He lashes at that one and hits it foul down the first baseline. Marte was off and running. Instead, it's just a strike. It's 1-1. And the biggest controversy of all in terms of balls and strikes was that 3-1 pitch. Moreno was sure it was ball 4. It was ball 4. It was called a strike. He struck out on the very next pitch. That was leading off in the bottom of the 9th inning. I say he struck out. He hit a ground ball to third. He made it. That one in there for a called strike.
Oh, we talked about last night. I mean, you look at the 3-1 pitch, and that's the one that stood out. But there was a 1-0 fastball that was called a ball. That should have been a strike.
So it's hard to convince the Diamondbacks of that, but it did sort of even itself out there. Andrew Heaney will throw over the first again. So you got Rackley behind home plate, Vic Carapazza at first, Crucci, Bill Miller is at second base, Rayburn, Quinn Wolcott, and we had a shot just a moment ago of Alfonso Marquez. He's down the right field line. There's Alfonso. Oh, he's a veteran umpire. He's a good umpire, but he did not have his best night last night behind the plate. And on the biggest stage, nobody wants that. Don't want the umpires to be a part of deciding a game. Runner at first, 1 out, no score, bottom 1. And another foul. That's a pretty good swing from Moreno. Just 23 years old. They've been a big key for the Diamondbacks. He hits that one out of play. So he's battling against Heaney. This is part of the reason why I think the D-backs are just tough on lefties as a whole. You got Moreno, you got Walker, you got Pham.
Well, Dave, this Diamondbacks team, even through the first 2-3 games, they haven't swung and missed.
That time he does swing and miss. Strike 3 on the high fastball. 2 down. Good pitch.
It's a great pitch. It's an elevated fastball out of the strike zone, and that's what Andrew Heaney does. He's grew up in Oklahoma. He grew up kind of a Texas Rangers fan, and that gives you an idea. It's just it's a different arm slot, and when you throw from that arm slot, it shoots up to a right-handed hitter or to a lefty.
2 down for Christian Walker. He takes the changeup low. We've said it many times already in the first 3 games. This is the guy for the Diamondbacks, and especially against a left-hander, because normally he kills left-handed pitching. Hits and hits for power. A quiet postseason for Walker.
Well, he kills left-handed pitching, and he also kills Andrew Heaney earlier in the year. Basically Cinco de Mayo. On May 3rd, Christian Walker took Andrew Heaney not deep once, but twice. Well, he got to that upshoot fastball.
Yeah, just this season he got the barrel of the bat to the ball. There goes Marte. Pitch taken high. The throw, the tag. He is out. So Simeon took the high throw, dropped the tag down quickly. Marte tosses the helmet away in disgust, and the inning is over. The Diamondbacks are not going to challenge that one. Marte thrown out, trying to steal. So leadoff base hit from Ketel Marte, but after that, 2 strikeouts and that excellent defensive play. Defense has just been a big part of this World Series. We'll go to inning number 2. No score in Phoenix. Inning number 2, Ketel Marte started off the bottom of the first inning with a base hit, but then he got thrown out trying to steal. So we go to the second, no score. Diamondbacks with the only hit, each side with a base runner. And this is interesting. You got Josh Young, the right-hander, but then a lefty low on deck, and Joe Mantiply stays in the game.
My guess is, if I'm playing this along with Torey Lovullo, he is keeping him through Nathaniel Lowe. They don't want Jonah Heim to hit right-handed. He's a much better right-handed hitter than he is lefty. There's several switch hitters, which makes it really fun to try to pick the matchups.
You good?
Well, got a piece of the young catcher again. Moreno's taken 2 of those already in this game. Now spin rate up in the first inning on that changeup, which has so much drop. And I don't know if that's a good thing on a changeup.
No, you want less spin on the changeup so you can get more downward movement. Sometimes, I mean, he's amped up. He's amped up. That's usually what happens is when you get excited, you overthrow.
So the count's 1-1 to the right-handed hitting Josh Young. Got the low strike that time. That pitch hasn't been called a strike a couple times already in this game. Now it's 1-2.
I see a lot of catchers, they drop their glove right before a pitcher's release. It's called working from the ground up, and it's easier for them to catch the low fastball and present it to an umpire.
You'll see Moreno drop down to that one knee technique. Also trying to help with a low pitch. Fastball misses high. Just about everybody in the game does it now. It wasn't long ago you'd see that, and that looked strange. That one is scorched into right center field, base hit, and it's going to roll all the way to the wall. Young will head to second and stop there as the center fielder Thomas plays the carom. That's a leadoff double for Josh Young.
He's been so impressive this postseason. If you haven't seen Josh Young play, you're in for a treat. He's going to be a possible Gold Glove winner down the road, but inside-out swing, he's got some power there. Has already hit 3 home runs this postseason. It's also his 4th double.
That ball came out off of his bat loud. So now this is what you were talking about. Probably the reason why Torey Lovullo left Mantiply in for this at bat. Nathaniel Lowe. And that was a big swing and miss. Not close on that first pitch breaking ball, but for the Rangers, you had the one matchup that was in your favor, and Josh Young took advantage of it, so you got the runner in scoring position.
Yeah, now if you're Nathaniel Lowe, all you're trying to do is get the ball in play right side. You don't care how, maybe it's a bunt, but you want to score first. We know how important, it's almost integral to the game now, is scoring first.
0-1 pitch. Lowe pulled that one, but he pulled it too much. Foul ball. It's 0-2.
Well, his face reaction after that is like, man, that's a win. No mock turtleneck tonight. He hasn't been swinging the bat that well, so he's changing up his look.
No stirrups also. He's changed the whole look. Only 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position in the postseason. Guy who had a lot of big hits for the Rangers in the regular year. He strikes out swinging here. That slider got him. So it's an out, and it's an unproductive out. Young stays at second, and we'll see with Jonah Heim coming up. Take a look at the Diamondbacks defense.
Well, defensively, fantastic in the infield tonight. Lourdes Gurriel's in left field. Alec Thomas in center made a really nice play, and then Corbin Carroll in right. And then Emmanuel Rivera gets a start, which makes this an elite infield defense with Perdomo, Marte, and Walker at first. And then you have Gabby Moreno behind home plate.
Well, get used to this tonight. This is a game where both managers are going to play matchups. Torey Lovullo, he ends up getting 4 outs from Joe Mantiply, who gave up a walk and a hit. He's responsible for the runner at second, but he'll come out of the game, and the right-hander Miguel Castro is going to force Jonah Heim to hit from the left side. No score, second inning, back right after this. Of a night where we figure to have plenty of them. Miguel Castro, this will be his 8th appearance in the postseason. He's been used a lot. He has not been pitching particularly well.
No, he's not. I mean, 75 appearances, led the National League. He's a contact pitcher, even though he throws 97.
This is way off the inside with that first pitch fastball to Jonah Heim. And part of the reason for the move at that moment, Spilly, is Jonah Heim's a guy who has big splits. He hasn't had a hit in this World Series, but in the regular year, he's a much better hitter from the right side against lefties.
Oh, but he's almost 75 points higher right-handed than left-handed.
2-0.
More power, more batting average. So for Torey Lovullo, I think one of the priorities when you look at the lineup, how do I match up against the Rangers? One of the top priorities is make Jonah Heim bat against right-handed pitching. 2 balls, no strikes to count. Got the call on the outside corner there, 2-1. That's not to say that he's helpless batting left-handed. You got to give that guy credit. Joe Mantiply did a good job. But he did give up the double to Josh Young, who stands at second with 1 out. Heim drives that one down the left field line. Foul. 2-2.
I mean, it is such a fight for both teams to either prevent the first run from scoring or to score the first run. because over the postseason, across all the games, it's almost close to an 80% win percentage if you score first.
You and I have been talking a lot about road success. I mean, Texas is 9-0 on the road in these playoffs. 9-0, unheard of. And you know, one reason could be you get those first at bats. If you get a lead, it's hard to give it up. 3-2 on the ground. Marte on the backhand. Throws out high. 2 down. Josh Young moves over to third. That was what they were looking for one hitter ago.
Well, for Miguel Castro, it is a sinker, slider, changeup. The sinker, really good use when it comes to getting ground balls. Even the slider, he's not a high strikeout rate type of pitcher, which he does pitch to contact. Again, like, this defense for the Diamondbacks has been fantastic. So it's going to be a lot of contact coming from the bullpen.
Outside to Leody Taveras. Hitting 8th tonight with Travis Jankowski in for Adolis Garcia. Jankowski is the 9th place hitter, so Taveras moves up one spot. Still looking for his first hit in the World Series. If he gets one here, he's going to put the Rangers ahead. Strike on the inside.
On the Rangers, 79 this postseason has been really productive. But with Adolis Garcia out, you're now forcing the bottom of the lineup, especially with a little bit of the shuffling, to come through big.
Harris checked his swing. 2-1. His at-bats haven't looked, I mean, he's a good player, but in this World Series just hasn't been his normal look.
No, he's a borderline all-star, and you're right, he just has not had quality at-bats.
Checked his swing again there. This time, pitch called a strike. It's 2-2.
They doubled up. They went changeup, sinker, but all on the outside part of the plate. And it looks like Leody's trying to pull a baseball.
Now time. Taveras uses his one timeout. It's Halloween night here in Phoenix, so the crowd full of folks who are wearing their costumes. That's a good one for a ballpark. If you're coming to a baseball game on Halloween, be a hot dog.
Come as a hot dog.
2-2. In the dirt, and it gets away. Young's going to break for the plate, and Moreno can't get a grip on the ball. That's how the Rangers score the first run of the game on a wild pitch. It's 1-0 Texas.
Wow, that's not the result you were expecting if you're the Diamondbacks. Moreno, he's had a couple balls where it's squeaked away from him, and this time he's down. It just doesn't hit the pocket.
Wow, so that's huge. A wild pitch scores the first run of the game. 3-2 to Taveras is ball 4. So he takes the walk.
So there's Gabby. He's down to the one knee. And I know a lot of opponents of the one knee catching argue with guys at third base, because you might not be quite as good getting down to it, that there's an argument that you go back to 2 feet. But there's been so many catchers that say, you know what, I can block from there. I just have to make sure I'm really moving with it.
So now the 9th place hitter, Jankowski, his first at bat as a starting player in the World Series. Swings and misses. Rangers are 9-0 in scoring first. It's only a run, but they have scored first here tonight. Jankowski has not started a game in almost 2 months. September 6th, the last time he started. And here it is, game 4 of the World Series. He lines that one up the middle, base hit. So Jankowski comes through. Taveras to second. He'll stop there. And the Rangers have a chance to make this a bigger inning. They've already got 1 across. Now 2 on with 2 out. And they turn the lineup over.
Second baseman, Marcus
Well, of course, Jankowski, whose swing this year, I mean, he has really been good coming off the bench. It's been a bit of a breakout year. Former first rounder out of Stony Brook. There's not a lot of players that came out of Stony Brook.
Jankowski is a solid role player, though. And Bruce Bochy, we talked to him before the game. A lot of confidence in his ability to make a positive impact. Here's Simeon. He pulls the first pitch breaking ball, foul. Most plate appearances in a single year, all time in the history of the game, including the postseason. There's only 2 ahead of Semien, and we believe he's going to break that unless something drastic happens.
Outside.
Slider outside, 1-1. You get Corey Seager on deck, and for the Diamondbacks, the worst case scenario right now is to face Seager with the bases loaded or 2 on. 1-2.
It already looks like Torey Lovullo has a lefty ready for Seager if it does get there.
I think you have to in a spot like this. 2 on, 2 out. Semien pulls that one down the left field line. That is a fair ball, and it's going to go into the corner. That's going to score 2. Tavares in. Jankowski, he'll score. Racing to third. Semien, he's in there with a slide. A 2-run triple. And the Rangers have a 3-0 lead.
Well, there's a reason why this guy had 100 RBIs on the season. He can flat out hit. There's also a reason why he's going to break a record for most at-bats in a season is because he can hit. And he got a little hanging slider at 80 miles an hour, and he ends up ripping it down the left field line. A little trouble for Gurriel. It's kind of a nuanced corner. That allows Semien to get to third.
I don't think it was going to matter in terms of the 2-run scoring, but it did allow Semien to make it to third. Torey Lovullo will make the pitching change here. The first extra base hit for Semien in 10 games, and that came in a very big spot. You can see how pumped he is. Kyle Nelson, the lefty, coming in. Rangers have gone ahead 3-0. Back to Phoenix right after this.
Great game, Scotty. Any thoughts?
Can I eat this right now? Nah, I shouldn't.
Roof open at Chase Field, and another big enthusiastic crowd. But again, the Rangers early have taken the crowd out of the game like they did last night. They lead 3-0. Kyle Nelson has been really good in the playoffs, not overpowering for the left side. Will come in and try to keep this just a 3-run inning. He's got to face Corey Seager with a runner at third. His first pitch is in the dirt, taken for ball 1.
I mean, what a turn of events from the Texas Rangers standpoint. You felt like they got 2 outs. Leonidas Tavares is up. It's 2 strikes, and it's a wild pitch. Works a walk. You get a nice at-bat from Travis Jankowski, and then Semien comes through.
1 pitch away from getting through this inning, and no damage done whatsoever. That's a lonely feeling. You hate to see that. Miguel Castro. Seager out to deep right center field. It is gone off the facing of the balcony. Above the pool, Corey Seager. Another monster home run. And maybe fitting on Halloween night. It's 5-0 Texas. Oh my goodness.
His 19th postseason home run, a no-doubter, 109 miles an hour off the bat. They wanted a left-on-left matchup. It doesn't matter at this moment. I mean, he's terrifying when he comes to the plate.
He didn't get hurt, did he? He almost looked like he was in a little bit of pain. The trainer's coming up to him. He doesn't look hurt there. Went into the home run trot, so we'll have to see. As he came across home plate, it was almost like he wasn't feeling quite right. The Rangers, who've already lost 2 key players, the number 1 key just did it again. That one chopped toward third. It's a fair ball. Rivera, long throw in time to get Garver. They keep pitching to Corey Seager. He keeps beating him over and over again.
It's a definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
So as great a swing as that was, something not quite right with Seager. We're going to have to see if he's all right to continue in this game. He's in the dugout and looks like he's going to take a drink and When we come back, we're going to, I think, have some big news on Corey Seager one way or the other. It's 5-0 Texas. Sign that Corey Seager is still in the game. After coming across home plate, and he was definitely, and to me, it almost looks like he's limping a little bit there. Feeling something in his lower body. That's not the look of joy of a guy who just hit another monstrous World Series home run. Christian Walker takes a strike from Andrew Heaney. It's only the bottom of the second. We got a long way to go, and it's only game 4. But the Rangers now in firm control of game 4 with a 5-0 lead.
Oh, 1-1.
This is where if you're the Diamondbacks, you have to punch back. This is a pretty pivotal inning, in my opinion, just because it's middle portion of your lineup.
We got good matchups here against Heaney. You got Walker, Pham, and Gurriel, 3 middle of the order right-handed hitters. And Diamondbacks need something positive. Big chopper to short. Seager. Handled that play no problem. Out number 1.
Well, luckily for Seager, he gets a kind of Sunday hop, but he was definitely not coming after it very aggressive. Those guys normally don't talk like this. There's probably some conversation about what he can get to.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, yo, Marcus, you ready to help me out a little bit?
Yeah. How much ground can he cover tonight? Oh, we know Josh Young on Corey's right has it covered.
John Heim just missed that pitch, but it was called a strike anyway, so it's 1-1 to Tommy Pham. Yeah, I think you're right. Josh Young can cover ground to his left, so help Seager out in that direction. And who knows? I mean, Simeon, maybe you shade a little bit if Seager's range is diminished. Simeon's going to get called off here by the center fielder Taveras. 2 down. Okay, injury or no injury. Another. Look at his swing.
Oh, man. I mean, there's so much about his swing that's he's quick to it, long through it. He's in his legs. Notice the head movement just stays right there, nose to the ball.
And it's just too many mistakes to the one guy who is consistently beating you. The Diamondbacks have to be very frustrated by this. We talked about it, you and I, in the very first inning. They got away with one. Joe Mantiply left a pitch right out over the plate, and Seager hit it near the warning track in left field. Gurriel, line drive, base hit left field. A 2-out single for Lourdes Gurriel.
Now, Diamondbacks, I mean, you just have to keep chipping away, take quality at bats. Try not to make any more mistakes, costly mistakes.
Well, here is Thomas. He's having a nice series. 4 hits, including a double. Stolen base.
Outside.
And he's had some capable at-bats left on left. This has been the big question for the Diamondbacks against a left-handed pitcher. Do you leave your great elite defensive center fielder in? Joey Lavello's answer in this series has been yes. Let Thomas play every day. Big swing and miss on the breaking ball.
He hit 143 in 77 at-bats this season against left-handers. It's a 435 OPS, which is not ideal.
No. Not good results in the regular season. Better at bats here in the World Series against lefties. 2-1. You got a right-handed hitter on deck. If Thomas could just keep this inning going, you get Emmanuel Rivera, who also has been swinging the bat pretty well the last few games. Give him a shot. 2-1 to Thomas. He drives that one down the left field line toward the corner. Carter sprinting over, but it goes foul. bat. I think he thought he had a chance to keep that fair. Seager, the shortstop, shaded about as far up the middle as you're allowed to be with those new rules this year. 2-2. In the dirt, not close from Heaney. A good play by Heim to keep Gurriel at first. Ball blocking has been a part of the story early in this one. Demi Marino could not block a ball that didn't look like, for him, by his standards, a really difficult play to make, and it allowed the first of 5 runs to score. All of them scored with 2 outs in the top of this second inning. Gurriel's going to get the head start from first. There he goes, 3-2. Thomas hits that one to left. Carter is there, though, and Carter will make the catch. Out number 3. 1 hit, 1 left, no runs so far. Andrew Heaney's doing a solid job, and the Rangers offense more than solid. We'll go to the third. It's 5-0 Texas. Halloween night here in Phoenix, Arizona. So far, a lot more trick than treat for the homestanding Arizona Diamondbacks. As we go to the third, it's 5-0. Not how the D-backs were envisioning this one going early. Kevin Carter against the lefty Kyle Nelson. And that pitch is low for ball 1. Carter flying out in his first at bat, second straight at bat where he faces a left-hander.
All right.
They want the lefties in against Seager and Carter at the top of the order. But right now, Corey Seager, it doesn't matter what strategy you take against him. If you pitch to him, he's making you pay. Just an incredible performance. We're talking all-time stuff here.
All-time.
What Corey Seager is doing is all-time great stuff. Right-hander warming up in the pen, Luis Frias. That is ball 3 from Nelson to Carter. There's the right-hander. Torey Lovullo, it can't be a good feeling in that dugout, falling behind like this. That one is hit to first. Walker will take it himself. Good job by Kyle Nelson to bounce back after falling behind and get Carter.
Well, a couple of reasons why it doesn't feel good. First off is you start second guessing your thought process. Why, did I want to have Manaply begin the second inning with a left on right matchup? Then you start thinking, should I have brought Miguel Castro in? Should I have pitched to Corey Seager? Now you start second guessing the entire plan, and the crowd is out of it. The crowd is out of it right now. And that's what the Rangers did. They just popped this party.
And I think you circled something that's important. There's a ball hit back up the middle, base hit. Because of the way this lineup is constructed, twice now Josh Young has gotten a chance to face a lefty, and now he's 2 for 2. And the double he had in his first at bat, he gets the single here. The double he had in his first at bat set the whole thing up.
Well, and they've been so worried about Jonah Heim hitting right-handed, they should have worried more about Josh Young. Josh Young had a .995 OPS against lefties in 110 at bats. That's a .327 batting average, 9 homers.
I think you're right. I think they might have circled the wrong guy in terms of prioritizing matchups.
All right.
Here's Lowe. He takes one right down the middle for a strike. And one thing you got to give the Rangers credit is they have enough different weapons to where they can build this lineup and make it tough on the D-backs. 0-2. Torey Lovullo hoping that his team can get back in this game. Long way to go. He's the winningest manager in Diamondbacks history. We asked him today, we sat with Torey and asked him, because he hasn't had a lot of postseason experience. He's managed a ton of games. Whether the game speeds up, you hear a lot of managers talk about that, how fast it gets moving in a big game on the biggest stage. He said no, it felt normal to him. One, two. It's a foul. Dirt. This time Moreno blocks it. 2-2. You feel for every catcher, I do at least, this point in the postseason. I know you get the built-in off days in playoff series, but these catchers, and on both teams, you get Jonah Heim on deck. Both guys are playing every single game. And with all the pressures on that position, it's exhausting.
It's outside.
Not by much. Full count, 3-2.
Well, and even just receiving a baseball, we act as if receiving a baseball is something easy. These pitches are coming. There's movement. There's a shock to your wrist, to your forearm.
That one hit hard up the middle. That's a base hit. So Lowe beats the lefty with a single. Young to second. And here come the Rangers again. 2 on, 1 out. With Jonah Heim set to hit, and if Torey Lovullo is following his game plan, you figure this is going to be another pitching change.
Catcher, Jonah Heim.
And here he comes. So Heim is going to be turned around. Kyle Nelson not quite as sharp tonight as we've seen him at times in this postseason. And the Diamondbacks are in danger of getting way behind early in this game. The Rangers keep putting more pressure on. So another pitching change in the third with Texas already ahead 5-0. As nighttime is here in the desert at Phoenix, Arizona. We're at Chase Field for Game 4 of this 2023 World Series. And so far, it's been all Texas Rangers against the home team. Luis Frias pitches for the 7th time in this postseason. We've seen him a lot already in this World Series. And I know those numbers look okay, but he's been a little erratic. Kyle Nelson out, Frias in, 2 on, only 1 out. Rangers threatening for more. Jonah Heim on the ground toward first. Walker had it, dropped it, and they're going to get nobody.
Oh, man.
That could have been a double play. Instead, it's the first error of the entire World Series, and it comes at a very poor time for the Diamondbacks. The bases are now loaded.
Christian Walker is a Gold Glover. He's a nominee this year. This is one of the best defensive first basemen in baseball. And not only does he not get the out at second base, he gets no outs. This is a possible tailor-made double play.
Well, that you almost never ever see that from him. Now Taveras comes up and takes ball 1 from Frias. The first error of the World Series. Maybe the best defensive team in baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll see if it really costs them.
All right.
Strike with the fastball. It's 1-1.
Well, so far, everything that could go wrong for the Diamondbacks has.
Here's the 1-1.
Inside.
2-1. And Frias is staring into the umpire. That was not close.
When you get to this point where you're frustrated, you're seeing outs and opportunities kind of squandered, you start to get a little bit emotional.
Yeah. It feels like that's happening to these D-backs right now. Well, now it's 2-2. Taveras was at the plate when the wild pitch was thrown last inning. That got the first run home. He hits this one foul off to the left.
This is where Frias needs a punch out. Frias is not a high strikeout rate reliever. That's consistently the problem with the Diamondbacks bullpen. It's not a ton of swing and miss. There's a lot of contact, weak contact.
Full count, 3-2. And when that's the case, you rely on your defense to make all the plays. He got a ground ball that could have been a double play. Diamondbacks got nobody. There's nowhere to put Taveras. A walk will force in another run. Big pitch in this game right here. Still only the third inning. 3-2. Swung on it, missed. He got the strikeout. That was ball 4, but he got Taveras to chase.
Well, Taveras is just he's not in a good place with his at-bats, but hopefully Travis Jankowski can pick him up. Now 3-2, bases loaded. You got to be really fine in what you're looking for because there's no wiggle room. They have to throw you a strike. Taveras completely chased one.
That would have been a run. Jankowski takes strike 1. That's that cutter from Frias at 89 miles an hour. Jankowski starting a game for the first time in almost 2 months. He's the guy replacing Adolis Garcia. Not replacing everything that Garcia does, but he's in the lineup because of that injury. And his first time up tonight, he had a base hit and scored a run. Takes that one low. He's a very selective hitter typically. It's one of his strengths. Not a lot of power, but a bases loaded spot. That's a good spot for Jankowski because you trust him not to do what Taveras just did. Pretty good numbers with the bases loaded in his career. He lights that one out toward right center field. That's going to be a hit for Jankowski. Thomas knocks it down, but it ricochets away. 2 runs are in. Jankowski into second. And he's doing an Adolis Garcia impersonation. He's 2 for 2. He knocks in 2 runs. It's 7-0 Texas.
Well, this Rangers team was one of the top offenses with runners in scoring position throughout the year, and during the World Series it's gone the opposite. But tonight, and you get a hitter like Travis Jankowski, just try to put the ball in play. That helps out El Bombi, feeling not so bad now sitting on the bench.
And Garcia's thinking, that looked like me.
Except without the biceps. A really nice approach from Jankowski. That's a really simple, it's like gearing down and just making sure you keep it in the fairway.
That's what you're looking for in that kind of at bat. Simeon, who had the huge hit his last time up, and he drives this one to deep left field. Going to back on the ball, Gurriel at the wall. It is gone. Marcus Simeon goes deep, and it is all Rangers. On a Halloween night, it's turning into a nightmare for the Diamondbacks. 10-0 in the 3rd inning. All 10 runs have scored with 2 outs in the first 3 innings.
Look at the reaction from the teammates. I mean, they are feeling for Marcus. They know how big of a grind it's been, and they're just pouring love on him. Look at that. That's such a relief from a player.
First home run of the playoffs for Marcus Simeon. Seager swings through that first pitch. And the guy who's been the home run hitter along with Garcia, Seager at the plate here. And Simeon pured it. Gurriel gave it a good effort, but just beyond his reach. Wow, 10-0 Texas.
I didn't see that coming on my bingo card, and for this Rangers lineup to just pour on a bullpen where it's not easy. I mean, the at-bats and the 2-out hits, I mean, to me, that's one of the biggest kind of killer to a player is 2-out RBIs on the other side.
Just amazing. All of them with 2 outs. Seager, not this time, strikes out on the high fastball. But the Rangers, for the 2nd consecutive inning, score 5 times. Seager with the big hit in the 2nd. And Simeon had a big one in that inning as well. And Simeon once again along with Travis Jankowski. So the biggest stars in the Texas lineup and a true unsung hero coming through so far tonight in Game 4.
Unbelievable. Using the entire roster tonight for the Rangers, top to bottom. Who would have guessed? It's 10-0 Rangers.
coach at Arizona State. He's a really great golfer. Not a terrible effort on his ceremonial first pitch with Merrill Kelly. John Rahm, proud of his roots here in Arizona, native Spaniard. And that may have been the highlight for the D-backs tonight so far.
So far, it's been all Rangers.
Wow, 10-0. It's the third inning.
Well, they always say good teams take advantages of mistakes, but the two mistakes the Diamondbacks have made have led to 10 runs.
Truly. I mean, I think you could. We don't know exactly how it would have played out in the second inning, but if Gabby Moreno's able to block a ball and you get Leotis Taveras and that run doesn't score on a wild pitch that, okay, could have been blocked at home plate. Maybe the Rangers get nothing there. And then Christian Walker had a chance for him, I think, a pretty normal double play turn with the catcher running. And they got nobody. And another 5 runs scored for Texas. Rivera out of play. And Emmanuel Rivera, this is his first at bat of the game. Marcus Semien and Corey Seager have each already come up 3 times tonight.
This is a challenge from Bochy's standpoint because we do know, I mean, we saw something happen with Corey Seager as he was coming around the bases. I mean, how much do you want him out there?
I think it's a good point. You got to really trust your player. Like, are you sure that nothing could be aggravated here? Because otherwise, I know it's the third inning. It would be unconventional, but you could see Bruce Bochy getting his superstar out of the game. That is a good problem to have. Am I up so big that I can take my best player out early in the game? Fly ball to left. Rivera just got a little tied up. And that's out number 1.
And a lot of it has to do with how Andrew Heaney is pitching. And right now, he's doing good. It's been 2 base runners, but 1 caught stealing. And nothing's really hurt them.
Yeah, they haven't had a runner to second yet. Just a couple of singles. This is the 9th hitter that he's faced. And it also, for Bochy, now you're through the couple games where you figure you're really going to have to lean on your bullpen hard. A little squibber past the mound. Seager to his left. Seager got him. 2 down.
All right,
good range there.
It did show good range. I mean, this is to his left. It's a slow roller. He's not even in the screen when it starts. There he comes. He's aggressive to it. Throws off his right foot.
Good play. So 2 down for Ketel Marte. Strike 1 from Heaney. Good changeup there. Marte got a hit to lead off the game for the D-backs. Did he go? Yes, he did. According to Vic Carapazza, that was a swing. So it's 0-2. Out to right center field toward the gap, and that's going to get down. Another hit from Marte. Jankowski cuts it off, but it's a double for Ketel Marte.
Marte's something else. Fantastic switch hitter. Not every switch hitter in the major leagues is actually hit good hitter on both sides, but that's the case with Marte.
His 24th hit of these playoffs. Now they're going to appeal. The Rangers thought that Marte might have missed first base. The first base umpire Carapazza says no, denied the appeal. Somebody thought they saw something.
I bet you it was close. It was very close.
It was. There's usually somebody on every team who, whether it's an assigned job or that's just kind of how the way they watch the game, they're paying attention to that kind of stuff.
Well, it doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to go to a challenger.
On the ground toward the right side, over to backhanded low, across his body to throw to first. Heaney got there in time. Now Carroll doesn't think so. So we're going to have to wait and see. The Diamondbacks are asking for a minute to see whether the call at first base was the correct one. Torey Lovello waiting for word, and no challenge. They got the out. It's been the Rangers defense, Billy, that's been shining so far in this one. And they definitely got him. So Heaney, another scoreless inning, 1 hit, no runs. We'll go to the fourth. It's all Rangers. OG back in 2010, the Giants trying to win their first. Madison Bumgarner, what was he, just 21 at that time on the road against these Texas Rangers in Arlington. And it was just the beginning of maybe, you could argue, the greatest World Series career for any pitcher. Look at that. In the history of his World Series performances, Madison Bumgarner, part of all three of those Giants championship teams, alongside Koufax and Rivera. 36 innings, 1 run.
It's pretty hard to argue against it. I mean, Madison Bumgarner with 1 earned run was just as good as Mariano, if not better, but in a more difficult position.
Ryan Nelson now, the right-hander, takes over and throws strike 1. Who's the highest paid player on this Arizona Diamondbacks team currently? This current Diamondbacks team.
Yeah, Madison Bumgarner.
It's Madison Bumgarner. And he's no longer on the team, but he began the year here in Arizona. He wasn't pitching well. The Diamondbacks just out and out released him, but he will get a World Series ring and forever be a part of, if the Diamondbacks were to win, he'll get a National League Championship ring. That one misses from Nelson, so it's ball 2.
2-1.
Mitch Garver for the Texas Rangers here against the righty Nelson, who has not had a great playoffs. Fouled back out of play. This would be the kind of guy, right, if he were throwing the ball a little better, that maybe tonight you would have kind of built a plan around in the early innings. Okay, we'll have an opener, and then maybe Ryan Nelson takes over. He just hasn't been sharp.
And the hardest part too is you're going over this game 4 plan is, was it a plan that backfired, or was there some plays that you just didn't complete?
Probably tonight more of the latter. Got it. Garver strikes out on the high slider, out number 1.
Left fielder Evan Carter.
And maybe a combo of both. The 2 at-bats for Josh Young, both against lefties, set the stage for both 5-run innings. And it's just funny how the Diamondbacks targeted other hitters to make sure they had the priority matchups against. And they left 2 lefties exposed against a good young power hitter, Josh Young, and he burned them both times. Carter got tied up there. Walker will take it to the bag himself. 2 down. Quietly, I think that's a part of the story of this game.
There's no question. I mean, Josh Young coming up already. He's 2 for 2. Had a double. Scored on the wild pitch. Had the single. Really kind of got things going last inning.
Josh Young. First time tonight he'll face a right-handed pitcher. I mean, you gave the numbers. He dominated lefties in the regular season as a rookie.
The 4th highest batting average against lefties in the American League.
I mean, he was one of the best hitters against lefties, and I'm not saying it was overlooked by the Diamondbacks. They knew it. They know everything, but that matchup was not their priority in the early innings tonight. And you give the player credit, Josh Young, for coming through. You don't really think of him as a table setter, but that's kind of what he's been in this game for. 0-2, and he drives that one to deep center field. Thomas all the way back. Thomas still going back, and he'll make the catch short of that 4:07 mark in straightaway center field. He hit another ball hard, but not quite hard enough. For the first time in this game, the Rangers go down in order. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth on Halloween night. 10-0 Texas. Chase Field was so revved up before each of these two World Series games that have been played in the last two nights, but quiet again tonight. Andrew Heaney, a part of that. 48 pitches, 31 strikes as we go to the bottom of the fourth, and his offense has been awesome. 10-0 Texas.
Oh, well, and for Andrew Heaney, I mean, the last real bulk game he's pitched in, you go back to the end of September, it was Texas against Seattle. Through 85 pitches. So he's been hovering from the last month. It was 4 outings. He hadn't really thrown more than 50 pitches. But tonight, if you're Bruce Bochy, you're like, hey, you got a 10-run lead. Like, you're getting 85 pitches at least.
I would think Boch would be going to Andrew Heaney and going, you feel good enough to give me that, right? Right?
Well, I do now.
1-1 strike to count to Gabriel Moreno, third place hitter. That's that change up low, ball 2.
No, and you can just imagine too, if Heaney gets you some real significant length. I mean, the Rangers bullpen's completely set up to win a World Series tomorrow.
Well, we even asked Bruce Bochy, okay, so John Gray, who's a starter who got hurt and has been introduced back into game action as a short reliever. Last night he was brilliant, looked unhittable. On ball 4, so Heaney issues the walk. And John Gray pitched 30 pitches in 3 full innings last night. We asked Bruce Bochy before the game, would you use him again tonight? And he said, I wouldn't like to, but it's the World Series. If there's a spot where I have to, I would. As long as he says he's okay. Now tonight, this score kind of takes that off the table. And John Gray would be a great weapon tomorrow night. That's a fair ball. Christian Walker, first pitch swinging down the line into the corner. Moreno to third, and he'll stop there as Carter gets to the ball. But into second for the double, Christian Walker. And the Diamondbacks have 2 on with nobody out. And maybe Spilly have their chance to feel like somehow, some way they can get back in this game.
Well, at anything, you just want to make sure you start getting into the bullpen. Set up tomorrow's game, even it out. Right now, it's all Texas, and there's still a ton of wiggle room for the Rangers, even though Mike Maddox is coming out to talk with Andrew Heaney. There's a sense of urgency, but at the same time, there's not too much because you have such a big lead.
Tommy Pham is going to be the hitter. Dane Dunning, a right-hander, has gotten up in the bullpen, so this meeting may be as much about just stalling for some time and let Dunning start to get loose. It really emphasizes, you see, even just 2 at-bats erase one of those mistakes that the Diamondbacks have made. Even if it's just a 5-0 game. Second and third in the 4th inning, nobody out. This game is a long way from being over. 10-0 is just so different. We'll see, though. Tommy Pham's been swinging the bat so well. He takes the ball. Only has 3 runs batted in the playoffs, all 3 of them on solo home runs. That seems almost impossible considering how many hits he's had. Fouled away. You have any hope in this game for the Diamondbacks? You got to cash these in and maybe more right here, right now.
You have to have a crooked number.
2-1. Meanwhile, the last thing the Rangers want is free base runners. A leadoff walk as much a part of this as the double by Walker. You figure this would have been a good matchup for Tommy Pham. Hasn't been so far in his career. 3-1. Heaney looking like he's starting to lose a little stuff.
Only threw 56 pitches against Baltimore, and that was on October 7th, nearly a month ago.
3-1. Pham fouls it away. Big pitch here. Three-two. That is strike three call. Pham didn't like it, but that was definitely a strike. Out number one.
They just crossed him up. He's looking away, and that splits too much of the plate. I mean, it's not even close to a ball.
Big first out to get through Pham. Second and third, one out. Gurriel, who has a hit in his only at bat. He's had a lot of good at bats in spots like this in the playoffs. 4 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Driven down the right field line. Another foul ball.
That ends up being a huge punch out of Tommy Pham because, I mean, if somehow Gurriel doesn't put a ball in play and you get a run, you're going to have Alec Thomas coming up left on left with 2 outs.
Yeah. Two and one. So in other words, a lot of pressure on Gurriel to come through here. Get something positive going for the Diamondbacks. That one is hit to right field. Room out there for Jankowski, who squares up, makes the catch. That is going to score a run. Tagging from third. Moreno comes in. Diamondbacks are on the board. Walker goes to third. The sacrifice fly makes it 10-1.
Well, you get one across, but now you're really just hoping for a 2-out RBI from Alec Thomas. I mean, scoring one an inning here on out still leaves you way short. You need a crooked inning.
Ball one to Thomas. And you figure the way this inning has looked, this could be it for Andrew Heaney no matter what happens. But if he can get through this and only 1 run allowed, I think the Rangers would be thrilled.
Yeah, you take it.
Two and 0. Most home runs in Diamondbacks playoff history. Alec Thomas. Now look, they haven't had a lot of playoff history here, but still. On the ground to second. Semien throws him out. And after all that, the Diamondbacks get just the one. Andrew Heaney, solid job tonight for the Rangers, and that's disappointing for Arizona. They're on the board, but we go to the 5th with the score 10-1. Games to 1. And so far, it has been all Texas. That look from Ketel Marte sort of sums up the night. Corey Seager just rampaging. Marcus Semien having his biggest game, a breakout game in the postseason. The elation on one side and the disappointment on the other side. Mantiply, Castro, Kyle Nelson, Frias, and Ryan Nelson. And the plan just hasn't worked for the D-backs on a bullpen night.
It has not, and they're going to probably have to use a form of it tomorrow night too. depending on what happens with Zach Gallen. Gallen hasn't been as sharp in the postseason as he is in the regular season.
So now Nathaniel Lowe takes a strike.
There he is. Yep.
Well, didn't think so. Just off the plate inside. 1-1 the count.
1-1.
Lowe had a base hit in the third inning. Rangers got 5 in the second and then backed it up with 5 in the third.
All right.
1-2.
Well, the Diamondbacks love Ryan Nelson's arm. I mean, he threw 27 starts in the course of the year. 144 innings pitched.
It's a lot of starts.
Got 2.
It's a big part of this team. But just kind of lost his spot. Part of that was the emergence of Brandon Pfaadt and how well he pitched down the stretch. Lowe kind of flips that one down the left field line. A little on-field distraction, so Nathaniel Lowe is going to have to wait this out for a minute.
Just a reminder, fans are not allowed on the field of play. You will not just be ejected from the stadium, you will be arrested and taken to jail.
Yeah, a night in the clink.
Not the way that I would want to spend Halloween night personally. I'll give Nelson a practice pitch after the delay, and now Nelson says he's good to go. Hit to left center field, pretty well hit. It's a big ballpark, and now that the humidor is in play here, just plays so dead. This is a pitcher-friendly ballpark in Arizona when it was anything but for the first many years of its history.
Catcher Jonah Heim.
And the guy roaming center field, Alec Thomas, I mean, even if you hit it to him in a smaller ballpark, you don't want to hit it to that guy.
Hit it to anybody else. Corbin Carroll's a really good defensive outfielder. Jake McCarthy, when he's healthy, excellent defensive outfielder.
Too high.
But Alec Thomas is one of the best. Jonah Heim, who reached on that error in the third inning. That was a big play. A little check swing foul.
Well, Jonah Heim, over the course of this year, was one of the best at throwing base runners out. He actually had 22 base runners thrown out, which was the third most in baseball. But this postseason, it's been tough. To give you an idea of the pop time, sub-2, that's better than Major League average, 82 miles an hour, which you don't think, you think catchers are throwing at 95. They're not. It's more footwork, exchange, and release. So that's only the second caught stealing for him out of 10 attempts. But a big confidence boost.
One and two to Heim. It was. I'm sure that felt good for him.
Right there.
Got the call on the outside corner. 2 down. All with 2 outs, 5 hits, 2 of them left. 2 of them are still going on the little tracer. And man, the 2-out run scoring, all 10 runs, 5 hits with 2 outs. Pretty remarkable. The extra base hits, the power. Tavares goes after the first pitch here and pops it up. Shallow left field. Rivera wants it. And the third baseman makes the call and the catch. And Ryan Nelson has come in and retired the side in order 2 innings in a row. So he's kind of calmed this game down. Probably too little too late. Midway through 5. We'll see. It's 10-1 Rangers as we go to the bottom of the 5th here in Phoenix, Arizona. Just a gorgeous night in the desert. But the weather has been the highlight for the Diamondbacks. They just did not play well in the first 3 innings, and the Rangers, with their superstar Corey Seager in the middle of all of it, took advantage. Andrew Heaney stays in the game, so he'll have at least one more hitter, and who knows, maybe one more inning. You talked about it last inning, Spilly, where Bruce Bochy just has a lot more flexibility because of the big lead.
Yeah, I mean, you're up 9.
All right.
Got the call on the outside.
Most of the time when you have a 9-run lead, you want to keep your foot on the gas from the Rangers' perspective, but you also have to be well aware of what you're setting up for tomorrow. And if you're the Diamondbacks, the reality is you're probably not coming from behind from this far back, but what you want to do is get into their bullpen.
On the ground, Rivera, Young cuts over in front of short and throws out his counterpart. 1 away.
Zach Gallen preparing for tomorrow, and Gallen has not been sharp. He was a game 1 starter. It was his changeup that settled him down from the 2nd inning on.
And I think you're right. I think Gallen now, sometimes, okay, you're the next day's starting pitcher. You want to sit back and watch the game, cheer on your teammates. Gets to be this point, he's probably flipped that switch now. Because he knows deep down, is it possible the Diamondbacks come from behind? It's possible.
Sure.
But he knows that their season is going to be sitting right on his shoulders. One and 2 to Perdomo.
You definitely want, if you're the Diamondbacks, you want to see if you can get Aroldis Chapman up, Josh Spores up, at least get him to throw. Jose Leclerc, I mean, just put some fear.
That would be a real victory at this point if they got those pitchers into this game. And it's still possible. Full count to Perdomo.
And even if it's just one of those guys.
Yep, you never know how that might impact tomorrow night's game. That's a ball. So Perdomo draws the walk. Michel Marte comes up, 2 more hits tonight. When you do the spray chart in this postseason and in his career, it's a lot of spraying.
He's like a sprinkler. I think what's amazing too, because he's a switch hitter, it's so much of his strength. He likes baseballs coming into him. That's what the benefit of being a switch hitter is.
All right.
And so you're allowed to kind of drop the barrel on certain hitters, on certain pitchers. It allows you to really almost have a leveraged matchup every single time you come to the plate.
Big chopper to first. Low is going to just take the out. When you're up 10-1, don't try to be a hero. Make sure you get an out. Marte retired. Smart play. Late game, tie game. You might spin around and try to get the lead runner. See if you could turn 2. Up 10-1, take the out.
And even on a throw like that, there's usually not a very good throwing lane for a first baseman. It's not even worth it traditionally if you don't have a big lead.
Corbin Carroll hits one foul. Just in case you're wondering out there, what's the biggest comeback in the history of the World Series? You got to go back to 1929. 8-run deficit overcome. The Philadelphia Athletics were playing the Cubs. And in the 7th inning, they were down 8-0. Here's a comebacker. Carroll right back to Heaney, who's going to go to first for the out. And that ends the inning. We'll go to the 6th with Texas up big, and after the break, we're going to join Fox and MLB for Stand Up to Cancer.
We are just seconds away.
Early innings were just awesome for the Texas Rangers, and Spilly, there was a couple little plays that really keyed it, including that wild pitch that got the scoring started.
You don't think at the time that it's that big of a deal until you start seeing how much it leads to something else. So wild pitch, a walk to Tavares Jankowski, who's in there for Adolis Garcia, who's put on the IL. He's off the shelf for the Texas Rangers. You think the Diamondbacks might have a little advantage not seeing him in there, but no, it's not been the case. Marcus Semien comes through, huge homer, and then nobody knows why anybody's even trying to throw a pitch to Corey Seager anymore, because he is just too dang good. Then you get Jankowski again. 2 outs in another 5-run nightmare. 2-out nightmare for the Texas Rangers. All 10 runs tonight, Dave, have come with 2 outs.
First 2 extra base hits in this World Series for the great Marcus Semien, a triple and a homer, the huge home run from Corey Seager. And the Texas Rangers are on their way to a 10th consecutive road win, which would then stand alone as the all-time longest road win streak in the history of the postseason in Major League Baseball.
It makes no sense. I mean, playing on the road is supposed to be hard. There's a reason it's called home field advantage. They don't call it road field advantage. But I think you're onto something, Dave, when you said teams that score first. And the Rangers have had the lead 7 times of those 9 postseason road victories. They jumped out early. They stay in front. Bochy, we know he's a master of the bullpen. It's going to be all plus-side relievers once he got the lead.
It's a pretty good formula. The way the game is played these days, playing from ahead just feels huge. First pitch curve to Travis Jankowski. What a part of the story he is tonight. Almost like he's smiling at the plate. He can't believe it. He hadn't started a game in 2 months. Adolis Garcia goes on the injury list. He's in there batting 9th. He's 2 for 2, a single, a double, 2 runs scored, 2 runs batted in. The Texas Rangers, by the way, forget postseason, have never had a 10-game road win streak, ever. And they've been around as the Texas Rangers for 51 years as a franchise. To do it when it's the most important is pretty remarkable.
And the way the season ended for the Texas Rangers during the regular season, they had to win 1 more game in Seattle, and they ended up coughing it up and losing to the Houston Astros, who basically they pulled the rug out from underneath them as far as the division goes.
To second base, Marte's got it. So not this time for Jankowski. He's retired for the first time in this game.
I mean, the Rangers were in first place over 140 days in the American League West. They very easily could have been the division winner. Then they go to the Tampa Bay Rays. They win the 2 games there in the wild card series. Then they go to Baltimore, one of the best teams in baseball, win games there.
Who knew that it was to their advantage to not win the division? Moreno, nice play by him. He had room at the backstop and made the catch. It was to their advantage. Don't win the division. Go on the road. You'll love it on the road. Here comes Corey Seager. Okay, for all the other stuff, what's the main reason why they're 2 wins away from a world championship? This guy.
Who has 2 thumbs and loves to hit homers in the postseason?
Well, that would be Corey Seager. Putting together one of the all-time great playoff careers. All-time great. That's a fastball high. He has 3 hits in this World Series. All 3 of them have been home runs. Fouls that one back out of play.
Well, a lot has been made about bat paths and trying to figure out what is the best way to swing. Well, this is what it looks like. That's the best way to swing. You get short to it, long through it. You notice a party out in front. Notice where the ball is. It's out in front of home plate. It's 71 miles an hour bat speed, which you might be wondering, is 71 miles an hour swinging the bat? Is that fast? I always thought that guys have bat speed of 100 miles an hour. Well, the answer is 71 is right near the top. Some guys will swing the bat 80, 82.
1-2. Seager strikes out this time on a high fastball. So Ryan Delson, since coming in, he has gone 9 up, 9 down. He has done a real solid job. However, he and the Diamondbacks offense need to get it going because midway through 6, they're How do you sum up this game as we go to the bottom of the 6th? It's 10-1 Rangers. We could just type out all Rangers. But Andrew Heaney, 5 innings, 4 hits, only 1 run allowed. He did a really nice job. Mantiply was the opener. And Mantiply gets charged with a run, only gave up the 1 hit. Seager's home run. And we left Marcus Semien off, not because we don't like Marcus Semien, but I think in some ways, as much as Seager's swing, Semien's breakout tonight has been a huge part of the story as Dane Dunning takes over for Texas. Second pitcher of the night for the Rangers. He gets Moreno to chase. It's 0-2.
Well, ideally for Bruce Bochy, Dane Dunning brings this one home.
Yeah. What did he say to us, Bochy, before the game? Well, Andrew Heaney, well, how about 5 innings, maybe 80 pitches, somewhere around there. He goes 5 innings, he threw 80 pitches.
Well, you have 12 more outs to get from the Rangers' perspective. That's 4 innings for Dane Dunning, and you're there.
Yeah. Dunning's capable. Another one of those Texas pitchers who was a starter for much of the year.
Dunning said he was probably the most comfortable of the starters in the relief role because he's done it before.
Well,
John Gray hadn't done it before until this World Series, and he's been a star for the bullpen of the Texas Rangers. Dunning was coming out of the bullpen until Jacob deGrom got hurt, and then he got thrown into the starting rotation.
He did such a good job. Moreno to third, Young throws him out. Rangers might not be here without the contributions of Dane Dunning during the regular season. Because for a while there's Billy, as great as Jacob deGrom may be the best pitcher in the game when he's healthy, as great as deGrom is, for a month Dane Dunning was doing a perfect deGrom impersonation. So now the bullpen is taken over. We might show those numbers again. Walker bounces it foul. Get the lead early when you're on the road. You get those first at bats, whether it's in the first inning or the first couple innings. Get a lead, hand the ball over to your bullpen, and they pitch like this. That's why they're 9-0 on the road. Christian Walker 1 for 2 tonight.
2-1.
Diamondbacks in their 1 World Championship season back in 2001. It came from behind in that World Series. This series is a long way from being over. But if they go on to lose the series, there can be a few small plays that everybody remembers. And Christian Walker's base running play last night is going to be one of those. It just is.
There's a lot of what ifs. What ifs if you don't run through the stop sign of Tony Perez-Chica, the third base coach. And the throw that Garcia made from right field to home was an overthrow. So you would have had second, third, nobody out.
Pitcher who was vulnerable, looking vulnerable on the mound. 4 count here to Walker. And I think it's not a stretch to think 2-3 runs across in that inning for the D-backs. Walker, kind of a bloop, just shallow right, and it's going to fall. Jankowski was coming in hard, but decided to just play it on a bounce. Walker's got himself a single.
That's now 2 hits for Christian Walker tonight. Would like to get that bat going. I mean, he's been their biggest power threat. Hit 33 home runs this year. He's one of the best all-around first basemen in Major League Baseball. He just has not. He's been ice cold. And then he had a big error tonight.
Chopped Right around home plate. Young, bare hand, not in time. Tommy Pham's got himself an infield hit. That's about all that Josh Young could do, and Pham just fast enough to beat it out.
Tell you what, very few third basemen even make this play close. I mean, this is a Baltimore chop right off home plate. And the only real position player to be able to get it is Dane Dunning. And Josh Young, watch how fast he is coming in from third base. Grab and throw. That's it. And usually third basemen, when they're making that throw, there is not much of a grip at all.
There's Gurriel. That's a strike. We said it in the fourth inning. If you want any chance for some history tonight, an historically great come from behind win, you got to have a big inning. Ball to ball, even though that might have been a strike, it was away from the target. It's 1-1.
Yeah, it was just a big body move from Jonah Heim, which makes it really hard for David Rackley, tonight's home plate umpire, to call it.
Gurriel on the ground towards short. Seager's got it to second one. Simeon to first. Double play. And the inning is over. So the Texas Rangers just keep making plays tonight. Whenever they get into a little bit of trouble, the defense helps their pitchers out. Another nice turn by those superstar middle infielders for Texas. Rangers still lead 10-1.
New
Is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. A World Series in the desert for just the second time, 2001, and here in 2023. They had to wait a long time to get a World Series back here to Arizona after arguably the most dramatic World Series in baseball history in 2001. An incredible Game 7. Hasn't been quite the same feel here these last two nights. All Rangers tonight. 10-1 we go to the 7th. Ryan Nelson against Mitch Garver. Curveball is low for ball one.
All right.
That's a strike. Speaking of the Commissioner of Baseball, you heard that disclaimer we just read, all the legalese. I specialize in legalese. I don't know if you knew that. But you spoke with the Commissioner today before the game.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with him. We were interviewing him for SiriusXM, and what was pretty impressive about Commissioner Rob today, he's very proud of the product on the field. Thinks the new rules have been significant to improve fan engagement, watching more athletes play. I mean, these two teams, the Rangers and the Diamondbacks, are prime examples of how the new rules have kind of impacted the sport. The non-shift, seeing the athleticism of the Diamondbacks and stealing bases with the bigger bags.
Nelson gets Garver to chase up high, a fastball for strike three. Time of game this year, last year averaged 3 hours 5 minutes, this year 2 hours 40 minutes. Huge difference. Runs per game were up, steals per game were up by almost a half a steal per game. Cody Bradford, left-hander, up in the Texas bullpen. Well, that's kind of interesting. Maybe Dane Dunning only goes one tonight for Texas. That's ball one to Evan Carter.
It could be just because he wants to save him for tomorrow.
Yep. But I think back to the point you were making, the Commissioner should be proud. The game on the field, really, really a great year for baseball.
And the fans showed up. We saw close to a 10% attendance increase, which is the largest increase in decades.
Carter, right back to Ryan Nelson. He's just mowing him down. 2 down. Come on for Texas. Part of the story of the Rangers, because they had 2 really tough years. Rangers, though, the last couple off seasons Heaney, Evaldi, John Gray, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Jacob deGrom. Huge outlays, big contracts, huge commitments. And it's paying off here. They're 1 win and 3 innings away from a World Series title. They've never had one in their franchise's history. And I think you put Bruce Bochy in that category too, don't you?
I do, but the Rangers were 4th in this season as far as total payroll. So it's a top 5 payroll team. But it's been supplemented with young quality players like a Josh Young, like an Evan Carter. So it's not just about signing free agents, it's about total organizational philosophy.
Yep, got to do both. Young up the middle, base hit. The young guy has been a huge part of this game. He's had 4 good at bats. He's 3 for 4. That's Yankees, Padres, Rangers. I think another part of what everybody's got to be happy about the game. It's not only the New York, Chicago, LA franchises, San Diego, Texas, Philadelphia, part of that mix. And that list also tells you low to left. Doesn't guarantee success. I think that's part of the point you're making. You got to supplement those big contracts with other ways to make your team better. The Rangers have done so many things well. This
3-2 pitch. Swung on a drill to right field. Going back Sanders on the track at the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! He is Mr. November.
It's a great nickname after what Derek Jeter did in the World Series where the Yankees played the Arizona Diamondbacks. Only other Diamondbacks World Series before this year. A walk-off solo home run off young Kim to give the Yankees a win on that November night. Randy Johnson, who was the co-MVP of that World Series, here in the ballpark again tonight, cheering on his Diamondbacks, who would end up winning that World Series in Game 7 in walk-off fashion. New pitcher for Texas, by the way. So Heaney goes 5, Dane Dunning an inning, and Cody Bradford takes over now for his 5th playoff appearance.
Well, it's interesting that Bochy's going to the lefty right here. Oh,
I'm good.
Gives you an idea of just the conversations first off between umpire and catcher. I mean, there really truly is a symbiotic relationship between both.
Partners in this game in so many ways. That is a swing and a miss for strike 2 to Thomas.
Well, with Bradford, I thought maybe with Dunning, if you got him two pitchers to get you 9 innings, you're set up for Bradford possibly tomorrow. A certain left-on-left matchup. But Bochy doesn't care. He'll use it tomorrow no matter what.
Yeah, and you got another off day after tomorrow, so trust that whoever pitches tonight would be just fine to go back-to-back tomorrow. Meanwhile, for the Diamondbacks, you and I have a few more innings to talk about this, but they're going to have to dig deep. We saw them do it after Game 1. Game 1 was a tough one. That's a foul ball, but tough in a very different way. This one, much different feel to this game.
It just got out of hand so fast, and with plays that you're not accustomed to seeing.
Got to somehow convince yourselves we can win 3 games in a row. We've done it many times this year, but that's what it's going to take after tonight. Fouled it off his foot. Ouch.
Not quite his foot.
Okay, never mind. No?
You usually get a little extra time on that one.
Yeah, everybody understands. Shouldn't assume, I guess.
Oh, gee.
Everybody's getting beat up.
Oh, man.
Is that the third one the umpire has taken in this sequence?
I'm pretty sure everybody's gotten a piece. Well, Cody Bradford, I mean, it's a four-seam fastball, changeup. He's not easy to square up.
The three guys around home plate right now are ready for this at bat to end. Two. And it does end with strike three swinging. One out. Bradford retires Thomas. And up comes Emmanuel Rivera. See if Torey Lovullo decides Rivera 0 for 2. He's lined down and grounded out. Had some good at bats in this World Series. Hits that one to right. Jankowski circles around it. 2 down. Be interesting decision whether Longoria is back in there tomorrow. He's been mostly the regular third baseman, or if Torey Lovullo decides Rivera's the guy swinging the bat better.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of decisions tonight, and for Torey, I mean, the one benefit that the Diamondbacks do have is Zach Gallen at home is really hard to beat. And if you can get by tomorrow, you get Merrill Kelly for Game 6.
To Perdomo. If I were the Diamondbacks, I'd be leaning hard into that. Hey, we got two guys we trust as much as anybody in the game. A 1-2 punch that can match up with anybody. Perdomo to shallow right. Simeon sprinting. Jankowski coming over. And look out. Simeon goes down and the ball was caught. What a catch. Jankowski caught it. Simeon collided with him, and he got up quickly. And baseball's current Iron Man looks to be okay. I guess that's how you play 800 games in a row, or whatever it is. Man, that could have been scary. Simeon survived the tumble, and Jankowski came up with a ball. What a play. Travis Jankowski just having a magical Game 4 here. Things happen here tonight that are pretty cool. But one thing that hadn't happened since the 1991 World Series Game 5, where the Atlanta Braves against the Minnesota Twins hit for the cycle as a team in a single inning. So you got to have a team single, double, triple homer in the same inning of offense. They did it all those years ago. It hadn't happened in a World Series game until tonight. But in the second inning, Josh Young with a double, Travis Jankowski with a single, Marcus Simeon with a triple, Corey Seager with a home run.
That's how you score 5 runs with basically 2 outs.
Yeah. Jonah Heim against Ryan Nelson, who's been outstanding. So if there's any bright spot for Arizona, Ryan Nelson soaking up some innings, getting some outs tonight. Now time, something got on the field. A 5-run second and a 5-run third. All the offense concentrated into those 2 innings.
Too high.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. We expect the weather to be the same tomorrow. The roof's going to be open again. That one is hammered to deep right field, and that's got to feel good for Jonah Heim. It is gone into the Texas bullpen. His 3rd home run of the playoffs. That's the first run against Ryan Nelson. It is 11-1. He's such an important part of this team. He hasn't been hitting in the World Series. But he goes deep.
Well, he's just waving up to his family. Gets a chance to hit from the left side. And there's a little changeup. You don't want to throw a changeup down and in to a lefty. That's kind of the nitro zone.
Third home run of the game for Texas.
There it is, that down and in. You saw it leak out. And that has to feel amazing.
He's been one of the best players for the Rangers. He's definitely been one of their MVPs for the full season. And he hit it into the bullpen where one of his teammates could get the ball for him. He's going to have a World Series home run ball as a souvenir. That's good planning. Strike two, Tavares. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Bullpen quiet for the D-backs. That's a strike. Jose Leclerc, the guy, figuring he's not going to have to pitch tonight. Give a little smooch. Give it to Will Smith. Will, who's got a chance to do something pretty cool.
He does. It could be 3 consecutive World Series with 3 different teams.
That is amazing. Will Smith, reliever on this Rangers team. Big chopper up the middle. Right there, Perdomo throws him out. Tavares retired.
And you hear oftentimes when players and teams get to this spot, where this is the best team I've ever been a part of. Well, one thing that the Texas Rangers as a group they've done that's a little bit more unique than most, they really made it a point of having team dinners. Constantly being together on the road, at home.
Yeah, Will Smith's been a big part of that. He's a veteran guy who's a really good presence in the clubhouse. Travis Jankowski, so fun to talk to him. He's just got a great personality. Group of guys that get along. They like to spend time together. And to your point, when we were talking with Will Smith about why are you the lucky rabbit's foot or whatever, and said, well, no. But the common thread is that all 3 of these teams have been really close. Will's the new current expert on how to build a championship team. He's been around 3 different ones, perhaps, in the last 3 years. Certainly the Rangers are championship caliber, whether they finish this off or not. There's Will Smith. We also asked Will about being here, and one reason why he was really excited to get back to the World Series is his parents are here. A little comebacker, Nelson, nice play off the mound to throw out Jankowski. When Will was a closer for the Atlanta Braves during COVID times, his parents couldn't get there to be in person.
Second baseman.
So they didn't get to see him then. And last year he was not pitching. He knew he wasn't going to pitch. He just was the kind of the last guy on the roster for the Astros. So he told him, I'm not going to get in the game. Might as well just stay home. So this year they decided to be with him, travel, come to the World Series, get to see him play in a World Series. Marcus Semien takes a strike.
Attention fans, the Arizona Diamondbacks in Major League Baseball remind you that fans are not permitted to throw objects of any kind onto the field. Fans violating these rules are subject to ejection, fines, or even arrest.
It's outside.
1-1. There are only 2 other players who've ever even appeared in 3 straight World Series for 3 different teams. Don Baylor and Eric Hinsky, and now Will Smith. Will would finish off the 3 consecutive World Series titles.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, you get to one World Series, and if you happen to win one, it's like a once in a lifetime. With 3 different teams in 3 consecutive seasons?
That's a lot of college funds for your kids. Yeah. Those World Series bonuses. For your kids' friends. Strike 3 called. Simeon didn't quite think so. It's been a great night for him, but not that time. Seager left on deck, and we're going to go to the bottom of the 8th inning. But Jonah Heim gets into the offensive action for Texas. Plus, he's got a World Series souvenir, a home run to make it 11-1 Rangers. Well, how about a Game 4 memory from 1969? Orioles-Mets, one of the more famous defensive plays in the history of the World Series. A guy who wasn't exactly known for his defense over a really great career. Ron Swoboda, what a catch. Brooks Robinson, who we miss greatly, just passed away recently. One of the all-time greats hit that ball, and Ron Swoboda with the incredible diving catch, and that's won that game in 10 innings, 2-1. The Miracle Mets, world champions in 1969.
It's an amazing story, right? They were one of the worst teams ever on paper and record-wise a couple of years before it.
A little reminiscent of these two teams. I mean, the Diamondbacks 2 years ago lost 110 games, and the Rangers lost 100 for 2 straight years. And then didn't have a great year last year, as that pitch to Ketel Marte just misses inside from the new left-hander Brock Burke, who yesterday probably wasn't thinking he was going to be pitching in Game 4. He just got added to the roster tonight with the injury to Max Scherzer. Both Adolis Garcia and Max Scherzer taken off the World Series roster because of injuries. That was big news before the game. Burke last pitched on October 8th. It's been a while. Marte, wow, swung and missed and threw the bat into the netting.
All kinds of things getting tossed around right now at the ballpark.
Yeah, they've been warning fans, because fans, look, you have a little sympathy. You're not supposed to do it, but it's 11-1. You came to a World Series game and you didn't get what you were hoping for. So fans have been throwing paper airplanes, and some of them have reached the field. Not good, not supposed to do it. They've been warning fans, don't throw anything. How about Ketel Marte and his bat? I think the PA announcer is going to come on and give him a warning.
Yeah, they might give him a stern warning.
Not throw any objects on or off the field. 2 more hits tonight for Ketel Marte to extend his all-time baseball record playoff hit streak. That one is to center field. Taveras has room out there. 1 away. Teams that have been to the World Series within 2 years of losing 100 or more games. The Braves in 1914, the Red Sox in 67, the Mets in 69, the Rays in 2008, and in this World Series 2 more additions to that list. The Rangers and Diamondbacks both lost 100 plus in 2021. Corbin Carroll takes a strike. Well, no matter what, tomorrow, Billy, the Diamondbacks need more from Corbin Carroll. Maybe it's not fair. He's 23 years old, but he's one of their best players. And he's struggling at home in these playoffs. Hits that one and past the range of Corey Seager. Just couldn't get there. Carter kind of kicked it for a moment, but Carroll will stop it first with a 1-out single.
Well, you ask and you shall receive. And in the case of Corbin Carroll, I mean, tonight it's been virtually every single one of his at-bats has been against a left-handed pitcher. Tomorrow will be Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers. Doesn't look like Seager got a good read off that bat, but it doesn't matter. Seager's been so fantastic.
So here's Moreno now. Runner at first, 1 out. 10-run lead for Texas. Just trying to get the final 5 outs here and get to Game 5. And we get a more traditional pitching matchup. You've mentioned Zach Gallen a bunch of times. Nathan Eovaldi's going to go for Texas. Game 1 wasn't as good as he usually is in the playoffs. He's got a great postseason track record.
He's called Nate the Great. And the postseason, I mean, he hasn't been beaten. And Zach Gallen at home this year, think about this. 12-4, a 2.67 ERA, and close to a 1 whip, which is walked hits per innings pitched. He's really good here.
2-1. That's true. It's big big difference for him. Lined and over the leap of Seager into left center field. Moreno's got a hit. That's back-to-back singles for the Diamondbacks.
Well, you can't give up on a game like this. You want to just keep. You want to move on to tomorrow, but at the same time, it is really important to see if he can dig into any portion of the bullpen and a plus side guy. A plus side guy is one of their main relievers that they don't want to have to warm up.
Yeah. Mike Maddox will get the shoulder rub here. With Brock Burke, I'm sure there's a lot of sympathy for Brock, who you try to stay sharp. You're here with the team, traveling with the team in case of an emergency. So the emergency happens. You get added to the roster, but you haven't been in a game all month, essentially. Chris Stratton's the guy who's up in the Texas bullpen.
Well, the stuff for Brock Burke is good. He was considered possibly a late inning reliever at the start of this year, maybe even possibly to close some games out.
One last gasp, and many of these Diamondbacks fans have stuck around. 2 on, 1 out. Christian Walker takes a ball. Walker's got 2 hits tonight. He's definitely been swinging the bat much better these last few games after a long stretch. And we're talking almost the whole postseason where he did not look like himself. One's low. 2-0. Lined into left field. Another hit for the D-backs. Stop sign for Carroll just because of the score. So he'll go to third and hold on there. The bases are loaded.
There you go. Start digging into their bullpen. You also get Christian Walker, 3 hits tonight. Don't want to see him get hot.
So Burke's going to give the ball up. Bruce Bochy out to make the pitching change. Hot dog and hamburger like it. A chance for the Diamondbacks. Chris Stratton's coming in here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Back right after this.
Ghost Peppers.
No.
Himself. That's all him. Oh, who says Game 4 can't still be fun? The Diamondbacks. It's been a long night for them. But a chance here with the bases loaded against the new pitcher, Chris Stratton. That guy's having a good time out by the pool. Tommy Pham takes the ball.
Well, you have the bases loaded and a ground ball pitcher in Chris Stratton. Now, they've had a couple of twin killings tonight, double plays that kind of just killed the inning. They can't afford one right now.
This is the 3rd chance for maybe a big inning that the Diamondbacks have generated tonight. Tommy Pham's always been a good hitter with the bases loaded. Part of that is he just controls the strike zone. Pressure on the pitcher here, Stratton. It's 1-1. Bam, swings and misses. He chased. Good changeup from Stratton.
On the season, Stratton did have 7 induced ground ball double plays.
Chris Stratton's been around a long time. 1-2. This is low. Tommy Pham's 8 for 16 in this World Series with a home run. He's got 4 extra base hits. D-backs could use one right here. That's a foul. Still 2-2.
If he hit that pitch, that's a tailor-made ground ball double play. It just gives you an idea of how much movement Stratton gets, and it's late. You know, the late movement is a true separator for ground ball pitchers. A lot of it has to do with spin rates.
Back. Stratton has always, from the time he came up as a young minor leaguer many years ago, always been a high spin rate. In fact, he was, I think, one of the first, as everybody was starting to use the new technology, appreciate spin rate, especially on his curveball. And battling. 2-2. Big chopper foul. I'm seeing a lot of pitches here against Stratton. Eighth pitch of the sequence coming right here. Stratton just into the game with the bases loaded. And takes a ball. Oh. Real close.
That is a really tough pitch to take. It's 94, and there's a lot of play, but you have to trust it's at the bottom of the strike zone.
Three-two. Bam. Fouls it away again. A good lash at that one. That was another pitch down. He had a good eye. He knew that one was too close to take, so he fouled it away.
This is the loudest the crowd has been, and they're down 10 runs.
Yeah. Kind of cool. 10th pitch of the at-bat here. Another 3-2. Pham lines it to right. Jankowski, though, is there to make the catch. Tagging from third, Carroll. He'll come in to score. Tagging from second base is Moreno. He goes to third. That was a really great at-bat from Tommy Pham. Different game situation. You give him all kinds of high fives. When you're down 10 runs, you probably need more than a sac fly, but that was a good battle.
He'll take it. He'll take it because oftentimes the next hitter might get a worn-out pitcher. He might miss a spot.
Chris Stratton, whose fastball still has a much higher than average spin rate. So oftentimes you see those pitchers who don't light up the radar gun but still have good fastballs, and that's a characteristic of one of those effective fastballs without the big velocity. Gurriel, wild swing and miss on a first pitch curve. Gurriel drove in the first run of the night for the Diamondbacks back in the fourth. 2 on, 2 out, 1 run in. Gurriel drives one to deep left. It is gone. To 5 Texas, and maybe you're right. Maybe that Tommy Pham at bat paid dividends, and Lourdes Gurriel takes Chris Stratton deep for a 3-run homer. There's Alec Thomas. That's a curveball for a strike.
Well, I always think it's important for teams when you continue to get chances with base runners to finally come through. You're not expecting a 3-run shot, but you'll take it.
Thomas swings and misses. It's 0-2. He's got a real quiet, shy personality.
Yeah, it barely ever comes out. Well, that 3-run shot is forcing Bochy to get his bullpen up again.
0-2. Thomas, big chopper. Seager gonna have to hurry here. Got him. Stayed calm the whole time, and that's out number 3. But the Diamondbacks come to life offensively, so that's got to feel good for them, even still down big. Gurriel's 3-run homer caps off a 4-run inning. And we'll go to the ninth here of Game 4 with the Rangers leading the Diamondbacks 11-5. Halloween night in Phoenix for Game 4 of this World Series. Corey Seager doing it again. Drives one out toward right center field. One hopping up into the pool deck. Corey Seager. He plays baseball like he's on vacation. Nothing bothers the guy.
Oh, man, and our favorite dancer got the ball.
That's our guy, huh? I didn't recognize him at first without his jersey on and his swim cap. He went in the pool without. Why are you wearing a swim cap if you take it off when you go in the pool?
I don't get it. And time again, as I'm watching Corey Seager, I mean, you're not going to walk Corey Seager, but he just jumps on a first pitch. This guy's as hot as I've seen a hitter. I mean, this is scorching hot.
I think that was our dancer, wasn't it?
It was.
All right.
He's living his best life out by the pool. Mitch Garver takes a strike from Ryan Nelson. Josh Smith takes over as a runner for Seager. So Corey Seager out of this game. That was the first hit that wasn't a homer in this World Series for Seager. Now he's hit some other balls hard. All right, this was him before he got in the pool, doing the Macarena or whatever. All right, so then Diamondbacks hit the home run. He decides that deserves a sort of a pseudo cannonball. He jumped in, and then
1-2.
they flip over to the next half inning, and he
got a souvenir.
He found the ball.
Yeah.
After it bounced over the wall.
The baseball gods will reward good fans.
Yes.
He went around. That's strike 3. So Mitch Garver strikes out swinging.
Well, how about the job Ryan Nelson has been able to do for the Diamondbacks? He's picked up now 5 1/3. Now you start, again, like there's a lot of second guessing on a game like this when you use a bullpen and you don't get the results in the first 3 innings. It's 10-0. And then you see a start, a really kind of relief appearance of 5 innings from a starter.
Andrew Saalfrank is going to be the guy now, a lefty, but yeah, Ryan Nelson deserves a big ovation. I think he'll get a big ovation. Did a great job tonight. 5 1/3 innings of relief in a World Series game. 11-5. Pitching change back right after this. 11-5 Texas, 9th inning, and Andrew Saalfrank takes over on the mound for Arizona. The 6th pitcher of the game, and he hits Evan Carter. That one got a piece of his hand. Also hit part of the bat, but his first pitch, I don't think that was a fake reaction from Evan Carter. And now the Rangers trainer and Bruce Bochy coming out to check on the 21-year-old. Texas is running out of players now. Torey Lovello wants them to review that.
Looks like he caught what's called a puck with these bats. That weight, it's a counterweight to make the barrel feel lighter, and it looks like he caught the puck.
So now the question is, did it also catch part of his hand? Carter's, if it didn't, he sold that really well, because that was a quick. Usually I just trust like the immediate quick reflex reaction. How about we just listen? He knew that hit part of the bat at least. I think it's going to be hard to tell. Did it glance off his finger? Almost looks like it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a hitter first, but that one looks like it hit the knob of the bat.
That's not to say he was out and out faking it, but it could be that his hand got sort of pinched against that. What you call it?
They call it a puck.
A puck.
Like a hockey puck.
All right. Well, let's hear from Bill Miller. I don't think Bill got his microphone on.
I think he said the call on the field stands.
Okay. Diamondbacks fans didn't hear it, and now that they see Carter is standing at first base, now they're booing. So first pitch from Saalfrank out of the bullpen, and he hits Evan Carter. Here's a chopper to short from Josh Young. Out at second, out at first, double play. One pitch hit a guy, two pitches get a double play. And the side is retired. Last chance for the D-backs as Game 4 goes to the bottom of the 9th inning. Last opportunity for Arizona. They're down 11-5. I still think, Spilly, as we look back on this game, 2 little plays open things up for the Rangers.
There's no question. This was a 2-2 count. It was a changeup down and in. It kicks away from Gabby Moreno. First run comes across the board. There's a walk, and then it led to 4 more. And then Christian Walker, the first baseman, Gold Glove first baseman, cannot turn a double play. It leads to another 5-run, 2-out inning.
So, you know, it's funny. You look back on the way this game played out, and 11 runs are on the board, home runs, extra base hits. You'd think a blowout, but 2 small moments, big influence on the way this game was played. Will Smith, we were pumping him up a couple innings ago, is going to come in. We're going to have a pitching change before the bottom of the 9th. So Will Smith takes over. It's 11-5 Texas, 3 outs away from a World Series victory. Seager, he takes over at shortstop. Then the D-backs sent Pavin Smith up as a pinch hitter, and Bruce Bochy countered by bringing Will Smith into the game. So Smith at short, Smith the pinch hitter, Smith the pitcher, and now Smith the pinch hitter gets pulled for Jordan Lawler, who will hit against Will Smith.
No problem. Got it easy peasy. And for Will Smith, I mean, he was the closer earlier in the year for the Texas Rangers.
Yes.
And then lost that role as he was ineffective.
Still been an important part of this team. Meanwhile, Jordan Lawler is 21 years old. He's only had 1 at-bat in the postseason. He's kind of just been along for the ride. Cool experience for him as he takes a strike. You know, really big-time talent. They think he's got a chance to be a very good player. Will Smith, 3rd player to appear in 3 straight World Series for 3 different teams. Atlanta, Houston, now Texas. Trying to win 3 championships in a row. Bounces that one. And you're right, Spilly. He was the closer for a long while.
He had 22 saves. 22 saves and 27 save opportunities. So 5 blown saves in there. But he's always had a phenomenal slider.
He's got 2 breaking balls that are similar. A curveball and then that sort of the wipeout pitch, the slider. On the ground, foul. I like guys like this because you get to the postseason and maybe the role has changed. Maybe you're not as important to your team right at this moment. But the Texas Rangers wouldn't be in the World Series without what he did in the regular season.
That's right.
There are lots of guys like that. When a team gets this far, with a check swing foul. Diamondbacks trying to put some pressure on Texas. 4-run inning in the 8th. We got Perdomo on deck, and then after that, the top of the order comes up again. So who knows? This is high. 2-2. Inside, not by much. Full count here to Lawler.
One of the biggest challenges coming off the bench as a hitter are pitches that are coming up and into. You want pitches middle away.
3-2. That's not close. So he walked him.
There's so many different nicknames for this Diamondbacks team. They call them the Answer Backs, the Never Say Diamondbacks. Snakes alive, and for the crowd that's still remaining, it's still big. They're feeling some sort of rally.
Sometimes it can be hard to get the rally cap going with your Halloween costume, but they believe here that somehow the Diamondbacks can come from behind.
Well, that's because they've seen it. It's one of the best teams in baseball with come from behind victories.
0-1 to Perdomo. He hits that one out towards right center field. That's going to be a hit. Lawler around second, heads for third. So the Diamondbacks, here they come. 2 on, nobody out. And look who's up in the bullpen, the closer.
That's everything for the Diamondbacks. I mean, if there's still a chance, right, that they can win, but most likely they're not going to win. But that is a win to get Jose Leclerc up tonight.
If you include the postseason, tied for the most come-from-behind wins of any team in baseball this year. Still holding on to some hope. And now you get maybe your best hitter at the plate, Marte. He goes after that first pitch.
We still have 6 runs from Texas's position, but it's uncomfortable. This is not a comfy 6-run lead.
No. Marte swings and misses. That slider, it's 0-2.
And Marte, I mean, he's really trying to possibly hit a 6-run home run. It's a little bit of an over-aggressive swing from what we've seen from him.
0-2. Marte strikes out. Well, that was the great slider from Will Smith for a big first out.
Well, for Marte, I mean, he's in a pretty big, exciting position. Misses the fastball. Then he had a slider he could have hit. Just overswung. And then there's the wipeout. Down and in. No chance of touching that pitch.
It's a 1 out. And here's Carroll. Base hit his last time up, and that started the 4-run 8th inning. Trying to contribute to a 9th inning rally. Big fastball from Smith, 1-1. There goes Perdomo from first. Carroll swings and misses over top the slider. He's got a better feel now for that slider. It's 1-2.
Well, once he starts feeling it and he's able to land it, now he can manipulate it any way he wants. The Diamondbacks tonight 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. The Rangers 4 for 10. They're equal on hits. They both have 11.
1-2. Big chopper foul.
But 10 of those 11 runs for the Rangers tonight. 2 outs.
Carroll is working hard to get better left on left. Not quite the weapon, especially in terms of the power that he is against right-handed pitching. They don't need power here. They need him to just get on base. He strikes out swinging, though. A fastball got him. 2 down. And the Diamondbacks are down to their final out.
Oh, Will Smith, he showed him the good slider, and then he goes fastball, and he missed location. I mean, that's not where he wants it. The Diamondbacks have only struck out 6 times tonight.
Back-to-back strikeouts, and Bruce Bochy's he's going to make a move. So Will Smith, I'm sure he was thinking he was going to get a chance just to finish off this game. He gave up the walk and the hit. He gets a couple of strikeouts. This is how Bochy manages in the playoffs. You take nothing for granted. You don't worry about ripple effects, and tomorrow, Jose Leclerc, you figure you're going to need him tomorrow? Okay, well, we got to make sure nothing crazy happens here. So the closer is coming in for the Rangers with 2 on and 2 out. Rangers 1 out away from a victory. Ryan Spilborghs, this was kind of your goal when the Diamondbacks fell behind big early in the game. See if you can come from behind and at least get one of the high leverage guys in the game, and they've gotten the Rangers closer in.
Well, and at a minimum, if Gabby Moreno gets a chance, I mean, you're trying to have your best players see their best relievers, and here's a chance for Gabby Moreno to see Jose Leclerc, even in a game that's a bit still lopsided. They're down 6 runs.
That's not how Bruce Bochy typically thinks in the playoffs.
You got to get the final out, and I'm with Bochy. I'd much rather see somebody manage with a sense of urgency versus being too passive.
I would say it's worked for him in his playoff career. But Leclerc also needs to do his part. He's missed with his first 2 pitches to Ronaldo Moreno. 1 out away from the Rangers taking a 3-1 lead. There's a strike.
So Moreno saw Leclerc last night, so this is back-to-back nights that he's seen him, and you know if the Rangers have a chance to close out the World Series tomorrow, you could see him 3 nights in a row.
It's an advantage for a hitter. Foul away, and the Diamondbacks are down to their final strike. A very controversial moment in the 9th inning of last night's game in a safe situation where that 3-1 pitch was called a strike instead of ball 4, and Moreno ended up grounding out instead of a walk to start that inning. 2-2. On the ground, up the middle, base hit into center field. And that's going to score 2 runs. Lawler's in, Perdomo's in. It's 11-7. And you need one more base runner to have a chance to tie the game. You need a couple more, actually, to have a chance to tie the game with 1 swing. But you're getting closer to where you have some real hope.
Well, and believe it or not, regardless of how this one ends, there's momentum back in the Diamondbacks dugout.
Yep. Walker went around. Strike 1. Christian Walker's had a positive game, 2 singles and a double. Foul back 0-2. Maybe something to build on for Torey Lovullo. Bruce Bochy not worried about that. He just wants the final out. Final strike, final out. The 0-2. Very high with a fastball. One-two pitch. Also high. 2-2.
I had a chance to ask Leclerc today just how good was he feeling. He said it's the best he's felt since 2018.
Walker pops it up. Lowe coming over. Leclerc sprinting over to be the first baseman. Lowe right in front of his manager to make the catch for the final out of the night. Well, the end maybe wasn't as pretty as the beginning for the Texas Rangers, but they are 1 victory away now from their franchise's first World Series championship, and they're still undefeated 10-0 on the road in the postseason.
And you're just not going to ever see a run like this. It's so historic that it doesn't even seem right. As somebody that's been around this game for a long time, I am not accustomed to seeing a team go the entire time of the postseason into hostile territory and win games consistently.
You saw that graphic. Teams who win and are up 3-1 go on to win the vast majority of the time. It doesn't happen every time, though. Series not over, but the Texas Rangers are one win away from a World Series championship. The most runs they've ever scored in a playoff game is 15. Second most tonight, 11. The offense in the early innings, especially Spilly, was just explosive.
I think a couple of miscues from the Diamondbacks really backfired on one of the league's best defensive teams. They made 2 mistakes early. It ended up being all of it. It ended up being the full dinner. Cost them basically the series when you consider the second and third inning.
So I'm sure they're going to be thinking about that for Texas. A night to get some rest and get steeled for a chance to win a title tomorrow night here in Phoenix. Halloween, the fans were ready, but the Rangers took those fans out of the game early. Ketel Marte thrown out trying to steal. The Rangers defense was good, and plus they have Corey Seager on their side. What a postseason for him. Marcus Semien came to life. 11 runs on the board for the Rangers and 1 win away from a title. For Ryan Spilborghs and our whole crew, Dave Fleming saying goodnight from Chase Field here in Phoenix, Arizona.